Well, for more, let's go to our correspondent in London, Jonathan Sacerdoti. And Jonathan, I've been seeing on Twitter plenty of people in the UK having a laugh over this absurd performance. But of course, this is a deadly serious business. What kind of official reaction are we seeing?
Yes, Caleb, you heard there in that interview an almost Wikipedia faithful recitation of the beauties of Salisbury, but it seems clear to the British government that that isn't why those two men were visiting the United Kingdom and specifically Salisbury. A government spokesman told me today that the police and Crown Prosecution Service have identified these men as the prime suspects in relation to the attack in Salisbury. They said that the government is clear that these men are officers of the Russian Military Intelligence Service, the GRU, who used a devastatingly toxic illegal chemical weapon on the streets of our country. They also said that they have repeatedly asked Russia to account for what happened in Salisbury in March. And today, just as we've seen throughout, they have responded with obfuscation and lies. So a strong statement there, making it very clear that Britain does not accept the accounts of these two men.
Jonathan, beyond a strong statement, beyond not accepting the accounts, Russia, as you just mentioned, has already repeatedly denied throughout the story, with this interview really appearing to be a little bit of a mockery of what is a very serious issue. What other recourse does the British government have, especially with the backing that it has gotten from other countries like the U.S. and France?
Well, in some ways, people are saying that this is an example of how Russia has messed up. They didn't manage to kill the spy they were after, nor his daughter, in fact. They did kill an innocent member of the British public sometime later, but they failed if their attempt was to assassinate him. However, they have perhaps sent a warning to anybody else that was seen to be a traitor to Russia, and that might have been part of the aim as well. Britain, though, has called on the international community to act strongly against Russia and to show that the use of chemical weapons on British soil or anywhere else around the world in contravention of international norms will not be accepted. The Russian intelligence community has suffered a hit in the UK with the expulsion of numerous agents here, and also the United States matched that with an even bigger number being expelled there. Over time, Britain will be trying to ratchet up that pressure and find others around the world who will help them, staying unified against the Russians, making sure that this pressure is put on them more and more so that activities like these can't take place in the future.
And I'm curious, Jonathan, now that we've actually seen these men, what other areas of investigation are there to be pursued in this case? There's been talk about tracking the names of these people through Europe. Apparently, they've been in many countries.
Well, that's right. It's, of course, the British authorities originally said that they don't believe that those are their real names. They said they were probably aliases. So, of course, in that Russia Today interview, the propaganda station of the Russian state, they made sure that the two men said that is, in fact, those were, in fact, their real names. Britain, though, it's believed, still thinks that those are false names, aliases. And it's believed that the UK holds other material supporting its key claims that it hasn't yet made public. So if that's the case, Britain will be pursuing the investigation along the same lines it's mentioned, using not only the CCTV footage that they've released to the public, but also plenty of other avenues of investigation. It seems they are very confident, as much as they can be with intelligence, that these two men were sent by Russia in order to assassinate a former Russian spy, and that they will be acting along those lines as they go forward. They don't wish to allow the rest of the world to be obfuscated by what they call lies. Russia, though, on the other hand, has said that Britain is lying. They've questioned how they could respond so quickly to the testimony of these two men on television, how Britain says that these two men are lying. They want to know exactly what it was that was a lie in that interview, and so on. So both sides calling the others liars, and this will go on and on for some time to come.
All right, well, nothing new there. If that interview was indeed meant to smooth any of this over, clearly it not only failed but seems to have backfired. Jonathan Sacerdoti in London, thanks very much for that.